What's up everybody, it's Tim. Please excuse my tiredness, I just woke up. I wanted to get into a Cleanspark video here, and I've actually got a couple of clips here for you from the Bitcoin Miami conference, and we have a representative of Lancium actually, Travis Eli, and this first clip here is going to get into Lancium's smart response system. So if you get anything useful out of this, make sure you drop me a like and subscribe. I put out daily videos, and let's roll the first clip, and then check out Cleanspark on the chart.
We think our technology is the single best solution to helping improve and stabilize and accelerate the grid. But one specific example. Last year, there's a power plant in Texas that produces about 2,000 megawatts. They had a fire. I think the fire was at the substation or on a transformer. Some fire caused that power generator to shut down. 2,000 megawatts shutting down, that causes a frequency response on the grid. So normally the grid's running at 60 hertz, plus or minus a varying degree. If that 60 hertz frequency, due to an event like this where the power generator goes offline, starts to drop below like 59.7, 59.4
So it's a very narrow span.
Yeah, very narrow bandwidth that frequency has to stay within. What our technology did is the data centers that we have under controllable load, under our smart response technology, they automatically, without any human input in the middle, they automatically detect the frequency of the grid and start responding within seconds, ramping down our power consumption, and that helps keep the grid frequency within that 60 hertz bandwidth. So that essentially preventing what would have been a brownout or a blackout.
Hope you guys are enjoying so far. Now let's look at Cleanspark on the chart. You'll notice that we are just about to break out of this ascending channel, and if we do break out of it Monday, if we do have a red day overall in small caps, or considering where Bitcoin's been going, it has been pulling back over the weekend. But if we do look at a little bit more red, it's very likely we see Cleanspark bounce off the 300 MA, which happens to be right at about 950, and also right around this support level. Now, to my surprise, we didn't really try to hold this previous resistance as a support, this like 11 area. We just kind of started falling from there. But just keep an eye on this, see if we bounce from this trend line, or see if we bounce from this 300 MA. Looking at the RSI, we are very near oversold, so I don't think it's going to go down much farther, or at least not fast. And looking at the MACD, I think the MACD is just about ready to curl. We may get a green day on Monday, we may bounce up from this channel here, and I want to see this 11-20 area start being held as a support. So we did have 3 red days in a row last week. I personally would expect a recovery day for small caps, meaning also Cleanspark as well, if small caps do see a little recovery going into next week, but just be on the lookout for that. I personally would expect Cleanspark to have a green day, but if we do break this trend line, like I said, we can come towards this 300 MA, and this would put us roughly at about 950. Now, I have said before that if it's under $10, it's a blessing, and we may not see under $10 again. So keep a close eye on Cleanspark. I will likely have some buy orders set at $950 and at $10, so I can just set it and forget it, go about my business on the day, and if they go through, cool. If they don't, okay. But let's get back to the video and let's roll that next clip.
So why Texas?
Texas has a lot of incentives for just the ERCOT market, the power market there, the ancillary services markets, very robust. You have the CLR program, and like I said, primary frequency response, a slew of others. I'm not the power guy on our team. You got to talk to Sean Connell for that. Look Sean Connell up on Twitter. But it's just incentive rich as far as why people would want to participate. And then they have the right structure within ERCOT. Other power markets, we're talking to people from markets all over. We're talking to senators and other Congress people, leaders of PUDs, public utility districts, trying to get them to understand how, if they were to adopt similar policies or regulations close to resembling what ERCOT does, that would actually incentivize more good actors to come into the space and really improve things significantly.
And that's what you just said right there. That's that work of like talking to our legislators, talking to our congressional delegations, helping them understand this stuff, because they don't get it. They don't really understand it. I was at a breakfast in Henderson, Nevada, and our congresswoman was there, and I asked a question about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and innovations in Nevada, and she said, I just don't know enough about it to answer this question, but who asked this question? And we got an opportunity to do some education with their office to help them get up to speed and everything. But we have to really be focused on that as an industry.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what, going forward, I know our communications team and PR team has been in touch with yours since we signed the contract just a few weeks ago. And that's something we're really going to push together, because we're providing this free education, free consulting to anybody who is relevant and who it could make a significant impact.
All right, now we're going to take a glance at Bitcoin here, because I do think that, we've got Bitcoin pulling up a little bit now, but over this weekend, since the market is closed, Bitcoin has pulled back a little bit, so this may put some selling pressure onto Cleanspark. However, looking at Bitcoin now, we are holding this trend line, which is great. We have fallen quite a bit the last couple of days. We tried to hug the 300 MA, started pulling back, but we did hold this support line. We did respect this support line here, and we were also trying to use this resistance here, this previous resistance, as a support. We broke a little bit from it, but now we're coming back up. I want to see us continue in this area and continue to establish this price. So we can start gaining this 44,000 area as a very strong support. I want to see us gain the support. I don't want to see it run up too far too fast. I want to see us develop some nice stair-stepping action and continue up on this trend line. But keep an eye on this trend line here. You can put it out here yourself. If we do break from it, Bitcoin could become very bearish. People are likely watching this technical pattern as well. So, and you have to also think, how easy is a pattern to see? You know, the easier a pattern is to see, the more likely other people will see it as well, and other people may trade based on that pattern. But looking at the RSI and MACD, we're looking very bullish there, pointing up, coming upwards on both. And I'd argue that the RSI has quite a bit of room to run still before we become overbought and start pulling back. So keep an eye on Bitcoin. I do think we can find some resistance here at the 300 MA. And this also sets us right at about 44,000. We're currently sitting at about 43.3. We are starting to push up. We were holding in about 42. We're now pushing 43, and we're on our way to 44. But I do think it's going to be a bumpy road. And like I said, this might put some downward pressure on Cleanspark unless we really start recovering nice and continuing to do so. But if this is just a quick little rally, we start pulling back into the market, definitely I would expect Cleanspark to likely drop as well. But it does depend on what the small caps do overall. So there are definitely a lot of different factors to weigh in with Cleanspark, at least looking at it on the short term. But as you all know, on the long term, I am extremely convicted in Cleanspark. I'd say I'm a little overextended in it, honestly, in my portfolio, but I've got a lot of faith. But before I start rambling on, let's get into the last clip here.
I view it more as like they have the kingmaker technology. Because in my role at Bitmain, I interfaced with all the big mining players in North America. And I can see what everybody's working on, what are they doing. Lancium was the most appealing to me. Of course, I'm using this as a platform to,
ingratiate yourself to your
talk
boss.
more about, my boss will love this. But, it really is the kingmaker as far as that, being able to act as a controllable load, being able to truly benefit the grid. If all mining players would incorporate Lancium's technology into what they do, nobody ever in the whole world would have any argument against us being, a waster of energy. Because we're doing the opposite. We are enabling energy that would be, there's all sorts of things that you can dive into on that topic, but we're enabling more renewable companies. So there's companies out there working with like wind farms and solar farms. And just a quick little tidbit of information. So some of these like JVs and other cooperations between solar farms, wind farms, and Bitcoin miners, let's say a wind farm normally takes 12 to 13 years to break even on their construction cost. Through partnering or working with a Bitcoin mining farm, they could potentially break even within 3 or 4 years. And that's just one of many benefits to renewable players in the space.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. As you can see, Lancium seems to be a great fit for Cleanspark. And this move that Cleanspark is making into Texas, a whole nother state, I think is huge. This is going to dramatically increase their exahash. And you could argue that there will be some negatives like potential dilution, maybe some dilution. But I would say that the negatives are shadowed by all the potential positives that this can offer. Pay close attention to Cleanspark. It's very likely we get some news moving forwards, more news about the Lancium deal and how it's going to be financed. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Make sure you check out the links below, get some free crypto and stocks, and don't forget to get a BlockFi card. Highly recommend it. It's honestly the only credit card I use. You can see it's actually pretty worn. And I believe it's a $40 reward. It could be $35, but I highly recommend you check it out, and it does help me out a lot. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.